a written production of the Recreation Centers of Sun City Incorporated and is intended for the sole purpose of informing our Recreation Center members. Any duplication, copying, transmission, broadcast, or use, including electronic and social media, is strictly prohibited without the prior written consent from the Recreation Centers of Sun City Incorporated. Thank you for watching.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our special board meeting session. If you would rise if you're able, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, welcome to our special session of the Board of Directors of the Rec Centers of Sun City. I'm Tom Foster. I am the president of the 2025 board. This meeting is audio and video recorded and is also being live streamed. Please take out your cell phones and electronic devices and check to ensure they're all on a silent mode. As a reminder, we do not tolerate verbal or physical abuse towards any member, guest, visitor, or employee. Violators may be asked to leave the meeting. All right, we have no real management personnel here today, so. No adult supervision? So why don't I just recognize Alan Kleinhans and Carla Young and Miguel Jackson, who are our audiovisual engineers, and of course thank the staff of Sundial for setting this up this afternoon. Our first item, did I forget to introduce her again?
No, it's the timekeeper.
He's okay. I can skip him, but I cannot skip the board coordinator, who is Marcia Johnson.
Hi.
I don't know what it is. I just blow right past that. All right, and our timekeeper today will be Director Brissett.
Good afternoon, everybody. Well, nice to see you all out there.
And our first item of business would be a roll call of the voting members by Secretary Keiss. Would you please take that vote?
Director Brissett.
Here.
Director Collins. Not here. Director Gray.
Here.
Director Mapes.
Here.
Director Ruff.
Here.
Treasurer Borski. Secretary Keiss, I am here. Vice President Nettesheim.
Here.
And President Foster.
Also here.
So we have 6 present, 2 absent. We have a quorum. 7 and 2. Am I going to start with this number problem again? Son of a gun.
Well, it's important because,
Yes.
so one of the things first, before we go there, Director Gray, you had a special rules that you wanted to start us off with.
Yes, Mr. President. I move for adoption of the special rules of procedure for discussion and voting on the bylaw revisions. Rule 1, discussion of the proposed bylaw revisions will proceed from the definition section and then article by article ad seriatim. Members must sign up to speak on the specific proposed bylaw revision they wish to speak to. The board member making the motion regarding a specific proposed bylaw revision will be permitted to speak first. Members who sign up to speak on proposed bylaw revisions will speak next, followed by discussion by the board members. Rule 2, when a specific bylaw revision is active, members who signed up to speak on that specific proposed bylaw revision will be given 3 minutes to make their comments regarding the specific motion. Rule 3, during the board's discussion of any specific proposed bylaw revision, a motion to amend a proposed bylaw revision may only be made by board members. Rule 4, If a member has signed up to speak on a specific proposed bylaw revision and that bylaw revision is proposed to be amended, the member will be given an opportunity to speak on the proposed amendment to that proposed bylaw revision. Members will be given 3 minutes to make their comments. Rule 5, no board member shall speak more than once to a given proposed bylaw revision or more than once to a given proposed amendment to a proposed bylaw revision and shall not speak longer than 3 minutes. This time limit also applies to the maker of a proposed amendment to a proposed bylaw revision. Rule 6, the chair of the bylaws working group may speak to each proposed bylaw revision and any proposed amendment thereto without a time limit. Rule 7, all discussion on a proposed bylaw revision or an amendment thereto shall be germane to the issue at hand and not dilatory. Rule 8, when discussion is complete on each specific proposed bylaw revision, the board will vote on either accept or reject the specific bylaw revision.
Thank you. We will need a second for that motion.
I'll second that.
All right. This is a motion to adopt special rules, and therefore only the board may speak to this proposed motion. Is there any discussion by the board members? Seeing none, the motion before you is to adopt special rules of procedure for discussion and adoption of the revised bylaws. Secretary Keiss, would you please take the roll call vote?
Director Brissette.
Yes.
Director Gray.
Yes.
Director Mapes.
Yes.
Director Ruff.
Yes.
Vice President, I vote yes. Vice President Nedesheim.
Yes.
President Foster.
Yes.
Sir, with a vote of 7 yes and no votes, we have a vote of 7 yes and 0 votes. 0 no votes.
Okay, what was in that Coca-Cola at lunch? Thank you, sir. All right, we're ready to proceed then with each set of the proposed bylaws. Under the current bylaws, a simple majority is all that's required to pass each one of these motions. Secretary Keiss, would you please read the first motion?
I move to amend the section titled Definitions of the current Recreation Centers of Sun City Incorporated Corporate Bylaws to the section titled Definitions of the proposed RCSC bylaws as recommended by the Bylaws Working Group.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Director Gray. Secretary Keiss, as maker of the motion, do you wish to speak first?
Yes, sir, I do. The most impactful recommended changes to the definitions area have much to do with updating them to match changes to the Arizona Nonprofit Corporation Act, or ANCA. Over the years, changes were made to our bylaws without ensuring that they kept pace with the changes to the ANCA. The working group was in constant contact with a nonprofit bylaws attorney to make sure the document is in line with the laws of the state of Arizona. We are also recommending to separate the incident report into 2 so that we have one for medical issues and limit the incident report only to issues with behavior. We've tried to better define that owners must be on the property deed, but also provided protection for surviving spouses so they aren't hit with new PIF and SIF fees. We also moved the definitions for types of petitions into definitions area and better define the rights of privileged cardholders.
Thank you. Ms. Johnson, would you please read the names of anyone who has signed up to speak on this particular motion?
Mr. President, no one signed up to speak on this motion.
Maureen, is anyone on live stream?
No.
Thank you. Okay, then is there any discussion by the directors? Seeing none, the motion before you on behalf of the Bylaws Working Group is to amend the bylaws section titled Definitions. Secretary Keiss, would you please take the roll call vote?
Director Brissette.
Yes.
Director Gray.
Yes.
Director Mapes.
Yes.
Director Ruff.
Yes.
I vote yes. Vice President Nedesheim.
Yes.
President Foster.
Yes.
Sir, we have 7 yes votes and no votes.
Thank you.
I got it right that time.
So the motion passes its second reading. The next item of business is a motion to approve proposed bylaw revisions on Article 1, titled Corporate Office. Secretary Keiss, would you please read your motion?
I move to amend Article 1 titled Corporate Office of the current Recreation Centers of Sun City Incorporated Corporate Bylaws to the Article 1 titled Corporate Office of the proposed RCSC bylaws as recommended by the Bylaws Working Group.
Is there a second? Seconded by Director Ruff. Secretary Keiss, as maker of the motion, do you wish to speak first for its adoption?
Yes, sir. The big recommended changes to Article 1 on the corporate office are to specify the precedents for how we will govern meetings and to allow non-financial and budgeting issues to carry over from December to the next calendar year in order to avoid having to waive second readings of motions in December.
Ms. Johnson, would you please read the names of members who have signed up to speak on this particular motion?
Lori Ellingson. No one else signed up to speak, Mr. President.
Maureen, is there anyone on live stream?
No, there isn't.
Thank you. Is there any discussion by the directors? Seeing none, the motion before you on behalf of the Bylaws Working Group is to amend Article 1, titled Corporate Office. Secretary Keiss, would you please take the roll call vote?
Director Brissette.
Yes.
Director Gray.
Yes.
Director Mapes.
Yes.
Director Ruff.
Yes.
I vote yes. Vice President Nettesheim.
Yes.
President Foster.
Yes.
Sir, we have 7 yes votes and 0 no votes.
So the motion passes its second reading. Next item of business is a motion to approve proposed bylaw revisions on Article 2, titled Membership, Cardholders, and Guests. Secretary Keiss, would you please read your motion?
I move to amend Article 2 titled Membership, Cardholders, and Guests of the current Recreation Centers of Sun City Incorporated Corporate Bylaws to the Article 2 titled Membership, Cardholders, and Guests of the proposed RCSC bylaws as recommended by the Bylaws Working Group.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Director Gray. Secretary Keiss, as maker of the motion, do you wish to speak first for its adoption?
Yes, sir. The most noticeable recommended change to Article 2, which covers membership, cardholders, and guests, is to remove the 75-mile residence rule for members. The Bylaws Working Group kept that a member has to occupy the property and added that it must be on the Maricopa County tax rolls as other than a rental or non-resident category property. The working group's thoughts on this was that a person who lives in the house and pays their assessment should be able to use RCSC facilities, whether they have another house in Peoria or South Dakota. We also gave more description of how medical and incident report forms should be used.
Thank you. Ms. Johnson, would you please read the names of any members who have signed up to speak on this particular motion?
Lori Ellingson.
Good afternoon, Lori Ellingson, 133335. So I am addressing Section 194, which talks about members will meet the following qualifications. A member must be an owner of property in Sun City and 55 years of age or older who occupies a property as an Arizona residence. So just clarification, if that is the person's only residence and their driver's license is an Arizona driver's license, their car license is in Arizona, the insurance is in Arizona, and they're registered to vote in Arizona, that qualifies them under this. Is that correct?
Yes, but it doesn't exclude other people.
Meaning?
Meaning that you don't have to be a permanent resident of Arizona. You can have houses in 2 places.
Okay.
But you have to occupy it in order, at some point, in order to be able to be a member, yes.
Okay. So if that's the case for that person, and they don't physically live there 365 days out of the year, does that disqualify them?
No, because it doesn't say the amount of time. It says you need to occupy it at some point. If you come down for the winter, then you're still considered a member.
Okay? So then if that person still has that as their only residence, and they stay overnight for an extended period of time to help as a caregiver, does that disqualify them from being able to use the rec center?
Well, are they on the deed of the property? You have to be on the deed of the property in order to be a member.
Yes, they are.
If you're on the deed of the property and you occupy the residence at some point, then yes, you're qualified to be a member. Yes,
Okay?
as long as the property is not a rental or in the non-resident category.
So this is a good thing that you have made this change, because in the past, there have been people that are on the deed, and they were forced to not only pay the annual facility fee, but they were also forced to buy a privilege card to continue to use the facilities. So this is a good thing, and I thank you for adding it and making that change.
Thank you.
All right,
Mr. President, no one else signed up to speak on this motion.
thank you. Maureen, anyone on live stream?
No?
Thank you.
Just for the record.
Well, I was about to ask for comments from the directors, so you're right on cue.
Okay.
Director Ruff?
I'd like to make an amendment, but I was told we can't vote on it, so I won't, but I think that's an erroneous decision. Thank you. Leave it at that.
All right. Is there any other discussion by directors? Seeing none, the motion before you on behalf of the Bylaws Working Group is to amend Article 2, titled Membership, Cardholders, and Guests. Secretary Keiss, would you please take the roll call vote?
I'm sorry. Could we get at least an explanation by Director Ruff about what he doesn't like about this, about Article 2? I mean, it's worth it having a discussion. I'm sorry, I should have brought that up earlier.
Well, I'm concerned about proper parliamentary procedure here, so you are not making a motion to amend. So you, as a director, may explain your position, but
Okay.
there will not be a motion to amend at this time.
If you look at Section 3, Paragraph A, when we took these areas out of there was duplicative language in bylaws and policy. So we took two of the paragraphs out of policy so that it would just be in one place. And with that, we had a change to the policy that says at least one owner or non-owner occupies the property is 55 years of age or older, and new language that says and has a valid government identification, because we're talking about non-owner. We're not requiring an owner to do that, but non-owner living there. And we'll have to do this after we've approved this.
But isn't that a question also that we should have about policy, the board policy, and not specifically the bylaws?
But we made that decision last week to
Well-
change the board policy out, and this line didn't get into the bylaws for some reason. They should have been the same, but it was overlooked.
Well,
And I'm trying to fix it, but I was told to fix it later.
correct me if I'm wrong, but we did not make any decisions on the board policies last week. We've had discussions about them, but no
Well,
decisions
yeah.
have been made. But that doesn't mean that we can continue to have discussions, and the members, when we have the town halls on the board policies, can have discussions about it too. So that decision is still up in the air.
If you say so.
Well, I think that is so. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. Any other discussion by directors? The motion before you on behalf of the Bylaws Working Group is to amend Article 2, titled Membership, Cardholders, and Guests. Secretary Keiss, would you please take the vote?
Director Brissett.
Yes.
Director Gray.
Yes.
Director Mapes.
Yes.
Director Ruff.
Yes.
I vote yes. Vice President Nettesheim.
Yes.
President Foster.
Yes.
Sir, with a vote of 7 yes, and we have 0 no votes.
Thank you. The motion passes its second reading. The next item of business is a motion to approve proposed bylaw revisions on Article 3, titled Assessment and Fees. Secretary Keiss, would you please read your motion?
There really are no significant changes to Article 3 on assessments and fees.
We'll read the motion.
Oh. I should listen to what you're saying? Is that what you're saying?
Well,
Okay.
it is helpful.
Let's
Thank
try.
you.
Let's try and see if I can do better with that. I move to amend Article 3 titled Assessments and Fees of the current Recreation Centers of Sun City Incorporated Corporate Bylaws to the Article 3 titled Assessments and Fees of the proposed RCSC bylaws as recommended by the Bylaws Working Group.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, here, a second from Director Mapes. Secretary Keiss, as maker of the motion, do you wish to speak first for its adoption?
Yes, let me say the right thing in the right place this time. There were no significant changes to Article 3 on assessments and fees. It remains essentially as it is in the current bylaws.
Very well. Ms. Johnson, would you please read the names of members who have signed up to speak on this particular motion?
Lori Ellingson.
Lori Ellingson, 133335. Section 323, where the assessments are on a per-property basis. There's been a lot of discussion in the last several years by very many members stating that that is not, it violates the equality. And this was changed in 2003, and there's no reason why it can't be looked at again and changed back, or make, this morning Dennis Christ had some really good suggestions on how you assess the property fee. So I think that is worth looking into, and I think it's worth tabling that section until there's more time. The bylaw, the working committee worked on this for hours and hours and hours over a period of 5 months. And the members were only given this a week or two before these meetings. So a lot of members didn't have time to address this issue. And I do think it would be, if you act in good faith on voting on this, that you would allow some changes to be made on the decision of how the fees are assessed. Thank you.
Mr. President, no one else signed up to speak on this motion?
Thank you. Maureen, live stream?
No one.
Thank you. All right, discussion by the directors.
Well, the State Supreme Court of Arizona ruled a long time ago that it is equitable. I can understand members' concerns, but the courts have ruled that this is an equitable way to look at property assessments, and that's why we're continuing to do it this way. I think that if you try to change it, first it changes an awful lot of facets of our corporation. And then Mr. Christ's idea about doing it by income is really, there are a lot of loopholes and a lot of ways you can abuse that. So I think that if the Supreme Court has ruled that it is equitable, then I think we should continue this way because it gives us a guaranteed number exactly of what our income is going to be on an annual basis as a corporation, and allows us to budget much more accurately than we would otherwise.
Thank you, sir. Is there any other discussion by directors? All right, seeing none, the motion before you on behalf of the Bylaws Working Group is to amend Article 3, titled Assessments and Fees. Secretary Kais, would you please take the roll call vote?
I'm getting there. Yes. Director Brissett.
Yes.
Director Gray.
Yes.
Director Mapes.
Yes.
Director Ruff.
Yes.
I vote yes. Vice President Nedesheim.
Yes.
President Foster.
Yes.
Sir, we have 7 yes votes and 0 no votes.
Thank you. The motion passes its second reading. All right, the next item of business is a motion to approve proposed bylaw revisions on Article 4, titled Membership Meetings. Secretary Kais, would you please read your motion?
Yes, sir. I move to amend Article 4, titled Membership Meetings of the current Recreation Centers of Sun City Incorporated Corporate Bylaws to the Article 4, titled Membership Meetings of the proposed RCSC bylaws as recommended by the Bylaws Working Group.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Director Gray. Secretary Kais, as maker of the motion, do you wish to speak first?
Yes, sir. Article 4 covers membership meetings. The working group concentrated on recommending changes to our meetings in the amendment process by expanding the access members get to propose motions prior to the vote. Currently, the only time members get to amend a motion is in the few minutes the motion is debated at the annual membership meeting. The new process provides months for members to provide feedback to motion makers to help refine their motions before they come up for a vote. We're also recommending there should be town halls so members can comment on proposed motions before they go final and before they come up for a vote. Additionally, our proposal is to vote on motions for 6 weeks prior to the annual meeting and give a number of different opportunities and ways for members to vote instead of only being able to vote at a membership meeting. We're also recommending expanding the annual meeting agenda to give members more information on the state of the corporation and a better defined process for requesting a special membership meeting.
Thank you. Ms. Johnson, would you please read the names of members who signed up to speak on this particular motion?
Mr. President, no one signed up to speak on this motion.
Thank you. Maureen, anyone on the live stream?
No.
Thank you. Is there any discussion by the directors? Vice President Nedesheim?
So I'm going to speak today because unfortunately I couldn't speak last time. This is a change from the way we've done things in the past, traditionally done things. Anytime there's a change, it takes time to adapt and adjust to that change. As the working group was having discussions about this, the idea behind these changes were to expand people's ability to vote, to give them far longer to discuss amendments, to give members time to submit amendments, make edits to them, changes based on feedback that they received, and comments and communications and discussion between the members. So the purpose of this change was not to diminish or decrease member interaction. It was to improve and expand it, and also improve and expand people's ability to vote for things. By turning around and saying not everything has to be done in one night in a hothouse environment where sometimes tempers run hot or feelings are passionate, this allows us to make, as a community, to make the right decisions about member motions and for members themselves to weigh in properly. So I didn't have the opportunity to say this at the last meeting, and I wanted to share my thoughts on this. There was never, ever any intention to diminish or decrease member engagement or member rights. The idea was to expand and give members more opportunity to weigh in and have feeling and express their concerns and their thoughts on things. So, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? The motion before you on behalf of the Bylaws Working Group is to amend Article 4, titled Membership Meetings. Secretary Keiss, would you please take the roll call vote?
Director Brissette.
Yes.
Director Gray.
Yes.
Director Mapes.
Yes.
Director Ruff.
Yes.
I vote yes. Vice President Nedesheim.
Yes.
President Foster.
Yes.
Sir, we have 7 yes votes and 0 no votes.
The motion passes its second reading. Thank you. The next item of business is a motion to approve proposed bylaw revisions on Article 5, titled Board of Directors. Secretary Keiss, would you please read your motion?
I move to amend Article 5, titled Board of Directors of the current Recreation Centers of Sun City Incorporated Corporate Bylaws, to the Article 5, titled Board of Directors of the proposed RCSC bylaws as recommended by the Bylaws Working Group.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Vice President Nedesheim. Secretary Keiss, as maker of the motion, do you wish to speak first?
Yes, sir. For Article 5 on the Board of Directors, the working group is recommending to better define how directors are elected to the board and how their terms of office are filled. We want to strengthen the requirements for the board to pass bylaws amendments by requiring the same 2/3 vote as is recommended for members and is in line with the ANCA. We recommend changing that the general manager gets direction only from the board president, but all direction must be done after consultation from the other board officers.
Thank you. Ms. Johnson, would you please read the names of members who signed up to speak on this motion?
Mr. President, no one signed up to speak on this motion.
Okay, thank you. Maureen, anyone on live stream?
No.
Thank you. Discussion by the directors. All right, seeing none, the motion before you on behalf of the Bylaws Working Group is to amend Article 5, titled Board of Directors. Secretary Keiss, will you please take the roll call vote?
Director Brissette.
Yes.
Director Gray.
Yes.
Director Mapes.
Yes.
Director Ruff.
Yes.
I vote yes. Vice President Nedesheim.
Yes.
President Foster.
Yes.
Sir, we have 7 yes votes and 0 no votes.
Thank you. The motion passes its second reading. The next item of business is a motion to approve proposed bylaw revisions on Article 6, titled Officers. Secretary Keiss, would you please read your motion?
I move to amend Article 6, titled Officers of the current Recreation Centers of Sun City Incorporated Corporate Bylaws, to the Article 6, titled Officers of the proposed RCSC bylaws as recommended by the Bylaws Working Group.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Director Gray. Secretary Keiss, as maker of the motion, do you wish to speak first?
Yes, sir. There are a few recommendations for Article 6 on board officers. Most of them are to itemize officer responsibilities instead of having them in paragraph form, and they better define how the board elects its officers and the Sun City Foundation directors.
Thank you. Ms. Johnson, please read the names of members who have signed up to speak on this motion.
Mr. President, no one signed up to speak on this motion.
Thank you. Maureen, live stream?
No.
Thank you. Discussion by the directors. Vice President Nedesheim.
One of the purposes of one of the goals of the changes we made was to more clearly define what the board officers do. Often you say, I want to be a board officer, but you don't really understand or know what they're going to do. So the idea is to actually ensure that we clearly outline that, and I will share, we do have a board policy that comes right along with it that explains in more detail what board officers do, so that when people volunteer to be a board officer, they know what the requirements and the expectations are.
Thank you. Anyone else of directors? It's good to not be surprised, so that's the intent of this particular motion. All right, no further discussion by directors then. The motion before you on behalf of the Bylaws Working Group is to amend Article 6, titled Officers. Secretary Kais, would you please take the roll call vote?
In just a second.
All right. Thank you for joining us, Director Collins.
So we're voting on Article 6. Okay. Director Brissett.
Yes.
Director Collins.
Yes.
Director Gray.
Yes.
Director Mapes.
Yes.
Director Ruff.
Yes.
I vote yes. Vice President Nedesheim.
Yes.
President Foster.
Yes.
Sir, we have 8 yes votes and 0 no votes.
Thank you. The motion passes its second reading. The next item of business is a motion to approve proposed bylaw revisions on Article 7, titled Nomination and Appointment Procedures. Secretary Kais, would you please read your motion?
I move to amend Article 7, titled Nomination and Appointment Procedures of the current Recreation Centers of Sun City Incorporated Corporate Bylaws to the Article 7, titled Nomination and Appointment Procedures of the proposed RCSC bylaws as recommended by the Bylaws Working Group.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Director Ruff. Secretary Kais, as maker of the motion, do you wish to speak first for its adoption?
Yes, sir. Recommended changes to Article 7 on director nomination and appointment procedures include improved procedures for candidates that want to apply to become board members and requirements for prospective candidates. However, we did propose to add in a requirement that board members need to be in residence 10 months out of the year. The RCSC board is very active now for all 12 months out of the year. We as a group asked the bylaws attorney if our thoughts were appropriate, and her answer was yes. Arizona Revised Statute 10-3802 allows for the Articles of Incorporation or bylaws to prescribe qualifications for directors. Additionally, she said that it's common practice for nonprofit corporations in Arizona to include a residency requirement for directors because it better serves the nonprofit's interests by ensuring stronger participation and community engagement.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Johnson, would you please read the names of members who have signed up to speak on this motion?
Lori Ellingson.
Lori Ellingson, 133335. Section 963, must reside in Sun City, Arizona, and be physically in residence at least 10 months of the year. It doesn't really state which of those 10 months, so can that person not be available in January and February and still be able to be on the board?
As long as they're here for 10 months, yes.
And how do you determine whether they're here or not? Do you put an ankle bracelet on them?
We have board meetings for 10 months out of the year, and the board regularly meets during July and August also, so it's very easy to see whether a person is actually here or not. It's not a difficult thing.
And what is the ability for the board members to participate by Zoom?
Yes, we allow electronic meeting. That way, even if a person is gone for those 2 months, he or she can still be part of the board and do whatever duties they need to. It becomes a little bit more difficult for some committees, but there are still electronic ways for us to do that, yes, and it is allowed.
Okay. And Section 967, I think it's wonderful that you made the change on that. You said attend in person or electronically the required Board of Candidate orientation. So that is a wonderful change, and I applaud you for making that change.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. Maureen, live stream?
No?
Thank you. Further discussion by the directors? Director Gray?
Thank you, Mr. President. This is my first year on the board. One of the things that I found out, because we've had, I think within our first month, we had like abrupt meetings. We were called to order because we had some situations that came up. We have a great community. We have a fantastic community, and we have a multi-million-dollar corporation. I think it's critical that anybody that's going to take on the role of leadership for this community and this corporation needs to be available. And I appreciate people that are well-meaning, but if they do not have the time to commit, and believe me, this first year, it's a little more time, and maybe Director Brissett could explain his view too. But there is a lot of time that it takes to do this job appropriately. And so again, I appreciate the people that want to make it easier for other people to be involved. But again, my priority, from my short experience on this board, is we have a great community and a large corporation, and it needs to have the directors available and willing to work. And as we've seen this year, pretty much 10 months out or 12 months out of the year, 2 months, I don't think anybody, even our vice president who took a cruise, did not take 2 months off. So again, I think that priority for our organization as a corporation and our community requires more than just part-time attendance.
Vice President Nettesheim.
So I will answer that. I was on a cruise, and I was actually attending meetings from the deck of my ship. So it was not a case of me being gone. I was engaged and involved in meetings as we were receiving feedback from members on the bylaws, and the working group was talking to assess and decide direction and stuff. All of that I was engaged with on board my ship. Fortunately, my ship had good internet, so I was able to do that. But I was attending meetings, yes.
And we didn't ask her what beverage she had in her hand during the meetings.
I'm not going to go there. But I will mention that I had mentioned to the membership that one of the requirements that we had was that a board member needed to be able to be on a Arizona liquor license. And as laws change, things moved on, and that no longer is a requirement. And I made that statement some months ago, which I think encouraged a lot of folks who were snowbirds that, hey, now we can participate. And yes and no, I guess. I have to echo the words of my colleagues here that this is no longer a part-time job. I'm sorry, it just isn't. All of the things the issues that come up and the requirements of being here to discuss those issues, whether they're procedural or legal or otherwise, you just need to be here. So I'm reluctantly, but I have to say that I have to agree that the 10-month requirement, I think, is being lenient. You really do need to be here full time. So, any other discussion by directors? Thank you for timing me.
I know you wanted to ring that bell. You really wanted to ring the bell.
John, did you really time him?
Oh, yeah, well, yes. I'm surprised the members were out there going, 30, 29, 28, counting me down.
He's a good timekeeper.
Yeah. All right. Seeing no other discussion by directors, the motion before you on behalf of the Bylaws Working Group is to amend Article 7, titled Nomination and Appointment Procedures. Secretary Keiss, would you please read the roll call vote?
Director Brissett.
Yes.
Director Collins.
Yes.
Director Gray.
Yes.
Director Mapes.
Yes.
Director Ruff.
Yes.
I vote yes. Vice President Nettesheim.
Yes.
President Foster.
Yes.
Sir, we have 8 yes votes and 0 no votes.
Thank you. The motion passes its second reading. All right, the next item of business is a motion to approve proposed bylaw revisions on Article 8, titled Election of Directors. Secretary Keiss, would you please read your motion?
I move to amend Article 8, titled Election of Directors of the current Recreation Centers of Sun City Incorporated Corporate Bylaws to the Article 8, titled Election of Directors of the proposed RCSC bylaws as recommended by the Bylaws Working Group.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Director Mapes. All right, Secretary Keiss, as maker of the motion, do you wish to speak first for its adoption?
Yes, sir. The only real recommended change to Article 8 on election of directors is that a recalled director is not eligible to run in a recall election for their spot. Otherwise, it remains unchanged, essentially.
Thank you. Ms. Johnson, would you please read the names of members who have signed up to speak on this motion?
Lori Ellingson.
I'm good.
You're passing, Lori?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Live stream?
No.
All right, thank you. Discussion by the directors. Vice President Nedesine.
So we have the one on line 991 where the recall director is not eligible. But if you look at 975, 76, and 78, you'll also see that we moved responsibility for the elections, the polling places, times and dates, to the election committee away from the board. One of the reasons as we discussed through this, that we did that was to avoid any impropriety about the elections at all. This is a committee of our members who now will help dictate, or will to a certain extent dictate, polling places, times and dates for
Yeah, I
elections.
should have mentioned that.
So I wanted to just go ahead and make people aware. There are several other places that we've moved responsibility to the election committee to avoid any kind of improprieties in like 5 through 8. So I just wanted to share that with people.
Thank you. I should have mentioned that.
All right. Any other discussion by directors? All right, seeing none. The motion before you on behalf of the Bylaws Working Group is to amend Article 8, titled Election of Directors. Secretary Keiss, would you please take the roll call vote?
Director Brissett.
Yes.
Director Collins.
Yes.
Director Gray.
Yes.
Director Mapes.
Yes.
Director Ruff.
Yes.
I vote yes. Vice President Nedesheim.
Yes.
President Foster.
Yes.
Sir, we have 8 yes votes and 0 no votes.
Thank you. The motion passes its second reading. All right, our next item of business is a motion to remove Article 9, titled Initiative, Referendum, and Removal Petitions, and replace it with the amended and renamed Article 9, titled Committees of the proposed RCSC bylaws as recommended by the Bylaws Working Group. Secretary Keiss, would you please read your motion?
I move to remove Article 9, titled Initiative, Referendum, and Removal Petitions from the current Recreation Centers of Sun City Incorporated Corporate Bylaws and replace it with the amended and renamed Article 9, titled Committees of the proposed RCSC bylaws as recommended by the Bylaws Working Group.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Director Gray. Secretary Keiss, as maker of the motion, do you wish to speak first?
Yes, sir. Most of the current Article 9 is the process to submit, recall, referendum, and removal petitions. The definitions of the different types of petitions were recommended to move to the definitions section, and the rest of the article is proposed to be moved to a board policy. We are also recommending that the current Article 12 on committees is moved into this spot. Significant committee recommended changes, including changing the title of a co-chair to the vice chair, that committee chairs are only allowed to vote to break a tie, allowing special committees and working groups, that a committee vice chair can be a director or a member, which is decided upon by the president and the committee chair, that committees can create their own nominating process, and that committees by a 2/3 vote can remove a committee member. The only significant recommended change to committee responsibilities is that the Long Range Planning Committee needs to look at projects 5 years or more in the future, except as necessary to adjust the PIF forecast.
Thank you. Ms. Johnson, would you please read the names of members who have signed up to speak on this motion?
Lori Ellingson.
Lori Ellingson, 133335. I think it is a great decision to allow a member to be a co-chair. So that change will make a big difference, I believe. It also will take away a lot of the time that the board has to spend if you don't have 2 directors on each committee. So that was very smart. And the only thing that I disagree with is the Long Range Planning Committee. Things change. They're always changing all the time. And long range planning, yes, they definitely need to be looking forward 5 years from now. But if there's something dramatic that changes between now and 5 years, I do believe long-range planning should be able to get involved and make recommendations on changes for that. So that's the only thing that you might want to tweak. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President, everyone who signed up to speak has spoken.
Thank you. Maureen?
Nope.
Thank you. We did have a second on this one,
Yes.
Director Gray?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right, discussion by directors. Secretary Kais.
The big reason why the working group wanted to put a time of the 5 years in for the Long Range Planning Committee is we've noticed in this last year that a lot of what the committee is focused on has been near-term projects. And there really, at some point in our organization and in our process, there has to be a breaking point from where you stop looking at a long-range plan, and that plan and project actually moves to short-range execution. And that's one of the things that the working group was concerned with, is there has to be a time when you do that. Now, I agree with Lori in that LRP needs to be able to change things if areas arise of concern or things change, because changes happen, which is why we added in there the big thing that the Long-Range Planning Committee brings to the board on an annual basis is the 10-year PIF forecast. And if something happens that needs to be adjusted to that, they need to be able to react to it, which is why we left in there that LRP can make changes to the 10-year forecast and bring that to the board, because as we all know, stuff happens. So we wanted to be able to give them that flexibility, but also set up a time when we move from planning to execution, because at that point, maybe the committees and the people that are more involved in the project should be taking that over and let long-range planning continue to look for things in the future and help us as a community see how we need to move forward.
Thank you. Other comments from directors? Seeing none, the motion before you is to remove Article 9, titled Initiative, Referendum, and Removal Petitions, and replace it with amended and renamed Article 9, titled Committees of the proposed RCSC bylaws, as recommended by the Bylaws Working Group. Secretary Kais, would you please take the roll call vote?
Director Brissett.
Yes.
Director Collins.
Yes.
Director Gray.
Yes.
Director Mapes.
Yes.
Director Ruff.
Yes.
I vote yes. Vice President Nedesheim.
Yes.
President Foster.
Yes.
So we have 8 yes votes and 0 no votes.
Thank you. The motion passes its second reading. The next item of business is a motion to move Article 13, titled Discipline Proceedings, and rename it as amended Article 10, titled Discipline Proceedings. Secretary Keiss, would you please read your motion?
I move to change Article 13, titled Discipline Proceedings of the current Recreation Centers of Sun City Incorporated Corporate Bylaws, and rename it as the amended Article 10, titled Discipline Proceedings of the proposed RCSC bylaws as recommended by the Bylaws Working Group.
Is there a second?
Second.
Apparently, it's a popular motion. Director Mapes has seconded. All right. Secretary Keiss, as maker of the motion, do you wish to speak first?
Yes, sir. Article 13 on discipline proceedings is recommended to move to the Article 10. The working group's desire for this area is to provide more safeguard for members and the RCSC staff. If the result of an incident or incidents requires a board hearing, the subject of the hearing will be provided with redacted copies of the incident report or reports that relate to the hearing. This will allow the subject of the hearing to better understand why there is a hearing and to better prepare themselves to discuss the charges. The redacted reports must be thoroughly altered to protect and safeguard the identity of the person or persons that submitted the reports. Both parties may attend the hearing if they choose, but that is their choice and is not a requirement. If both parties decide to attend, the commission will set up different times and dates for each person's part of the hearing in order to better protect them. If the incident report is filed against RCSC personnel, that report will go directly to Human Resources. If the commission finds no violation, all records of the specific incident that caused the hearing will be removed from RCSC files and destroyed.
Thank you. Ms. Johnson, would you please read the names of members who have signed to speak to this motion?
Lori Ellingson.
Lori Ellingson, 133335. Section 1385, it says, a member, privilege card holder, or any other person must not behave in a manner which jeopardizes the rights or privileges of RCSC employees, other members, privilege card holders, their guests, or any other persons. That's really vague. Behave in a manner which jeopardizes the rights or privileges. Subjective. We need clarification on that. If somebody is called into a board hearing for a he said, she said, for something that is frivolous, something that is unjustified, something that is uncalled for, why are we even bothering to allow something like that to happen? A lot of this shouldn't be under board policies or bylaws. This should be handled by HR. HR understands all of the members' rights and privileges, and the members should have equal representation by HR, not just the employees and not just the board. So a lot of this whole section shouldn't even be included in the bylaws. This should be referred to HR, where that person has the education, the knowledge, the certification, and knows under the law how to handle everything. There's nothing in this article that gives the member any recourse if a frivolous hearing has been called. So there's just, the whole thing needs to be thrown out and referred to under HR. And section 1436. Notice that the involved parties may have an assistant present. Who is that assistant? How do they go about getting that? And what is the reason for that?
Anyone else?
No, Mr. President.
Thank you. Maureen, on live stream?
No?
Thank you. Discussion by directors. Director Collins?
Yes, I really still have an issue with the redacted incident reports. I think that we can, those are our documents, and I think we could write the accused person a letter and put the list of charges like we do already. I don't think we need to have our incident reports out there where they can be posted online or whatever. And I was glad to see that you did change. A worker does not have to appear. It's up to them. That was good because we have to protect our workers. And that's where the incident report out there can put pieces together. And I just want to protect not only the worker, but the person who there might be witnesses. And I just don't think that paperwork should be out there in the public. Thank you.
Vice President Nettesheim.
So I'd like to speak to the HR. Human resources is for employees. Specifically, you have a human resources department just for employees. We do not have a human resources department that deals with members. That is not the purpose of what they are hired for. They are hired to handle human resource issues like benefits, performance issues, things like that for employees. So I don't see how human resources, such as it exists today in RCSC, would be applicable to handle a member complaint between two members. I understand if it's an employee and a member, but if it's between two members, where does HR, what's their role in that when human resources are specifically for employees? So I have concerns about pulling HR into things that they have no purview over, basically. I understand Director Collins' concerns with regard to redacted incident reports, but I also understand members' concerns who have come to me and said, I don't know what happened. I don't understand why I got this letter. I don't think I did anything wrong. When, where, how, what? They have no clue of what's actually happening. So, you know, even if so I'm going to use a really extreme situation here, but if you arrest somebody, they get an arrest report. They get that. And unfortunately for any witnesses, their names are usually on that. At least in this instance, we are protecting people that have reported. So I would just argue that we have to find a balance.
I would just, I don't know, I'm hesitant to mix church and state here, but, you know, the concern that was made loud and clear was that it was vague and subject to a lot of subjective judgment. Perhaps the rule of do unto others as you would do unto them is pretty vague and subjective as well, but it's worked for 2,000 years. And the concern about a frivolous or proceeding against a member on a frivolous complaint, and again, that people could have different views of that, but I would think that board members can see a frivolous one when they see it and know when they should say, okay, we're not going to go forward with this one versus something that does need some attention. So I get it, but I don't. So I think that language still needs to stand. Secretary Kais.
I don't get a timer, by the way. Just saying. No, I don't. Maker of the motion, I don't get one. And going along with that, I understand your point about the he said, she said. What I think this does actually is help protect people in a he said, she said case, because it goes to 3 board members that are somewhat objective about this and are able to sort that out, so that if it comes to be he said, she said, and it does seem to be frivolous, then that all goes away. The incident report goes away, so it helps protect the member, so that for something like that, there's not a black mark against them, or there's not a record kept against them about something that was frivolous and shouldn't, and the person didn't deserve to get that against them. For who is the assistant can be whatever the person wants them to be able to bring them into the hearing, whether it's a character person, it just gives them another voice if they need it, another advocate. So I think one of the things we've done with this is to help protect the people that are the subjects of these incidents, so that they have a little bit more ability to defend themselves, and so that the person who's filing it has the ability to come in if they want to and explain specifically what happened to them, so that the commission can see that right up front and get both sides from both people to be able to make an educated and objective decision.
Any other comments from directors? Seeing none, the motion before you on behalf of the Bylaws Working Group is to move Article 13, entitled Discipline Proceedings, and rename it as amended Article 10. Secretary Kais, would you please take the roll call vote?
Director Brissett.
Yes.
Director Collins.
Yes.
Director Gray.
Yes.
Director Mapes.
Yes.
Director Ruff.
Yes.
I vote yes. Vice President Nedesheim.
Yes.
President Foster.
Yes.
Sir, we have 8 yes votes and 0 no votes.
Thank you. The motion passes its second reading. The next item of business is a motion to move Article 10, titled Indemnification and Risk Management, and rename it as amended Article 11, titled Indemnification and Risk Management. Secretary Kais, would you please read your motion?
I move to change Article 10, titled Indemnification and Risk Management, of the current Recreation Centers of Sun City Incorporated corporate bylaws, and rename it as the amended Article 11, titled Indemnification and Risk Management, of the proposed RCSC bylaws as recommended by the Bylaws Working Group.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Director Mapes. Secretary Kais, as maker of the motion, do you wish to speak first?
Yes, sir. Article 10 on indemnification, Article 11, man, I did it again. Article 11 on indemnification and risk management was recommended to move to Article 10, and there are no changes.
Thank you. Ms. Johnson, would you please read the names of members who have signed up to speak on this motion?
Lori Ellingson. No one else signed up to speak, Mr. President.
Thank you. Maureen?
No?
Thank you. Discussion by directors. I see none. The motion before you is to move Article 10, titled Indemnification and Risk Management, and rename it as amended Article 11, titled Indemnification and Risk Management. Secretary Kais, would you please take the roll call vote?
Director Brissett.
Yes.
Director Collins.
Yes.
Director Gray.
Yes.
Director Mapes.
Yes.
Director Ruff.
Yes.
I vote yes. Vice President Nedesheim.
Yes.
President Foster.
Yes.
Sir, we have 8 yes votes and 0 no votes.
Thank you. The motion passes its second reading. Next item of business is a motion to move Article 11 titled Investments and rename it as amended to Article 12 titled Investments. Secretary Keiss, would you read your motion?
I move to change Article 11 titled Investments of the current Recreation Centers of Sun City Incorporated corporate bylaws and rename it as the amended Article 12 titled Investments of the proposed RCSC bylaws as recommended by the Bylaws Working Group.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Director Collins. Secretary Keiss, as maker of the motion, do you wish to speak first?
Yes, sir. Article 11 on investments was recommended to move to Article 12, and nearly all of it is recommended to be moved to a board policy. The working group did recommend adding definitions to the different buckets of money that RCSC uses to help members better understand where their money goes and what it is used for.
Thank you. Ms. Johnson, would you please read the names of members who have signed up to speak on this motion?
Mr. President, no one signed up to speak on this motion.
Thank you. Maureen?
No?
Thank you. Discussion by the directors. All right, I see none. The motion before you on behalf of the Bylaws Working Group is to move Article 11 titled Investment and rename it as amended Article 12 titled Investments. Secretary Keiss, would you please take the roll call vote?
Director Brissett.
Yes.
Director Collins.
Yes.
Director Gray.
Yes.
Director Mapes.
Yes.
Director Ruff.
Yes.
I vote yes. Vice President Nettesheim.
Yes.
President Foster.
Yes.
Sir, we have 8 yes votes and 0 no votes.
Thank you. The motion passes its second reading. The next item of business is a motion to adopt a new Article 13 titled Severability. Secretary Keiss, would you please read your motion?
I move to adopt a new Article 13 titled Severability of the proposed Recreation Centers of Sun City Incorporated corporate bylaws as recommended by the Bylaws Working Group.
Thank you. Is there a second? Yes. Thank you. Second by Director Brissett. Secretary Keiss, as maker of the motion, do you wish to speak first?
Yes, sir. Article 13 is a new recommendation. The severability clause protects RCSC in case one area of the bylaws is found invalid. That area can be removed and reconstructed, but the rest of the bylaws remains valid.
Thank you. Ms. Johnson, would you please read the names of members who have signed up to speak on this motion?
Mr. President, no one signed up to speak on this motion.
All right. Maureen?
Not a formal title.
No one.
Thank you. Discussion by directors. Seeing none, the motion before you on behalf of the Bylaws Working Group is to adopt a new Article 13 titled Severability. Secretary Keiss, would you please take the roll call vote?
Director Brissett.
Yes.
Director Collins.
Yes.
Director Gray.
Yes.
Director Mapes.
Yes.
Director Ruff.
Yes.
I vote yes. Vice President Nettesheim.
Yes.
President Foster.
Yes.
Sir, we have 8 yes votes and 0 no votes.
Thank you. The motion passes its second reading. All right. We're nearly done, so thank you for your patience.
Sir, can I break in here?
I was about to do what you're going to do, so go
Okay.
right ahead.
I'm going to get emotional about this. I really want to thank the members of the Bylaws Working Group. We've been meeting since April, frequently every week. People have been doing homework in between to try and get and improve our bylaws and get them in line with the statutes and make them better to give our members more access to the processes that involve our corporation. They came prepared every week. They were honest with us. They were open. They were accepting if things didn't necessarily go their way, because sometimes it didn't go the way for all of us. And they kept their head in the game, and they worked really hard and diligently And I am extremely thankful for the work they did with us, and I appreciate it very much.
I echo those comments 1,000%. You guys were awesome. Director Ruff.
I think Secretary Keiss earned some special commendation as well, as he really did a lot of work afterwards trying to keep all that information together and in the right order, in the right place, and changing
He has learned.
paragraphs, et cetera, numbers and all that stuff. Great job, Preston.
He has earned a PhD in herding cats. So, yeah, I would suggest a round of applause for all of those folks.
Thank you very much.
All right, now that we have gone through these proposed bylaws, we have one more step to go. Director Gray?
Yes, Mr. President, I move for adoption of a resolution to set specific calendar dates to allow for submission, review, and voting on member-submitted amendments to the bylaws for the 2026 annual membership meeting. The schedule would be as follows. 1, submission start, November 12th, 2025. Number 2, submission deadline, December 16th, 2025. Number 3, review by legal counsel determine whether the proposed member motions are appropriate to be completed by December 30th, 2026. 2025. Excuse me. Number 4, sponsor edit deadline, January 20th, 2026. Sign off on, number 5, sign off on revised member proposed motions by legal counsel by January 27th, 2026. Publication of final text, January 30th, 2026. A town hall meeting, if requested, the weeks of February 2nd through the 13th of 2026. A voting period, February 16th, 2026 through March 23, 2026. Tabulation completed by March 27th, 2026. Annual membership meeting on March 31st, 2026. And business day roll, any date that falls on a day RCSC administrative offices are closed shall roll to the next business day.
Thank you. Is there a second? Second by Director Ruff. As a special resolution, only the board may speak to this. Are there any comments by the board?
Yes.
Okay, Director Brissett.
I have a couple of questions. First off, are we certain legal can get back to us on the time and dates we have listed? We have two separate ones. We have them at 3 and at 5. Okay, we're incumbent, they're incumbent upon getting them done in time. And if they do not, how does this affect our overall, what are we going to do?
It's my understanding that there will not be a concern there. It certainly depends on how many motions might be brought by the membership, but I think these are fairly experienced individuals, and I am not concerned that they would have an issue here.
And I would think that if there is something like that, then we're just going to have to continue to slide things a little bit just to make accommodations. But we can cross that bridge when we get to it, if we come to it.
So this is not a hard standing date?
These are proposed submitted dates, correct?
Right. So they can be adjusted if necessary
Yes.
by just the board?
It is a resolution that could be changed. That is true.
By whom?
The board
Only?
only.
Okay, thank you.
John.
But we'll accept recommendations.
Director Gray.
Yes, I just wanted to make a comment for those that, because when you're giving off dates, it doesn't roll in your head as well. But what we're doing is from the start date to the deadline date is 4.5 weeks. So anybody that wants to submit amendment will have that period of time between, again, the 12th of November through December 16th. So that's 4.5 weeks to put those together, have those turned in. And then, yes, the attorney will be given 2 weeks to review on the initial. We've actually got 2 weeks for that period because it includes Christmas. Later, there will be another review. That they have 1 week, but so you've got 2 weeks to, for the legal review, and then the deadline ends for the sponsors. There's 3 weeks for them to be able to finalize, and then we've got 1 week where motions will, again, be reviewed by legal counsel. Then we've got 3 days for our staff to publish those and get those up, and then the following 2 weeks is the time frame where if there's a town hall requested, and as Vice President Nettesheim talked about, one of the challenges, as soon as I get through, one of the challenges when people are looking at initiatives or amendments, it's like, how does this affect the whole community? So there will be opportunities to discuss that, which is a very important situation because some people, there's unintended consequences that can happen. And so as a community, we have to make sure we're aware of those. So that gives the time for us to do that review. And then for voting period, we actually have 5 weeks. So from the time it starts to the time it ends, the membership will have 5 weeks to go online and to vote. We will also be having ballots that they will be able to come in and write out. And then we've got 5-day tabulation period. So I think the time frame that we have is going to give members enough time to thoroughly understand what's being proposed. We'll have discussion opportunities, and it won't be something, again, that in the heat of the moment you have to make decisions. We'll be able to do this in a very thoughtful process, and that's the goal, is to make sure our amendments are looked at in a critical process and give every one of our members an opportunity to evaluate that and come to a decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Collins, did you wish to speak?
Yes, Mr. President. Could you please have Marcia send this out an email blast and then also one to the clubs for them to send out?
That is a reasonable request. Yes, sir. Anything else? Vice President Nettesheim.
So what I would like to encourage the members to do is participate in this process. If you have an amendment that you feel is important and you want to propose it, participate in the process. You have 4.5 weeks to write it, refine it, and then get it out there for publication. So to go to the attorneys just to confirm that it's a proper member motion. Participate in the process. Let's see how this works. Let's use this form of governance to work through, provide feedback if things are clunky, or we're open to listening to feedback about this. But as we move through these different things, remember that each step of the way, your participation makes the difference. Being part of the process makes the difference. So I encourage you, if you have anything you want to propose, to be part of the process. Thank you.
Secretary Keiss.
Yes, and I just want to make sure that with this resolution, the way the bylaws are written and the way the approved bylaws are written allows that even if, for the initial legal review, if an amendment is found that it may not be a proper member subject, that is still going to continue forward, so that it can still be discussed and it can still go forward, if nothing else, to a recommendation to the board for them to look at for anything.
Thank you. So anything else by the board? So the resolution before you is to adopt a resolution to set specific calendar dates to allow for submission, review, and voting on member-submitted amendments to the bylaws for the 2026 annual membership meeting. Secretary Keiss, would you take the roll call vote?
Director Brissett.
Yes.
Director Collins.
Yes.
Director Gray.
Yes.
Director Mapes.
Yes.
Director Ruff.
Yes.
I vote yes. Vice President Nettesheim.
Yes.
President Foster.
Yes.
So we have 8 yes votes and 0 no votes.
The motion passes. Thank you. All right. The next meeting of the board will actually be a town hall on November 14th 2025, this coming Friday at 10 a.m. to take member comments on the proposed board policy revisions, several of which will hopefully be sent out yet this afternoon, but if not, early tomorrow morning. The next regular board meeting will be November 20th at 9 a.m. right here in the Sundial. And that's a little earlier than we normally hold them but this is a month with a holiday in it, so it pushes the schedule up a little bit. The next exchange is December 8th at 9 a.m. right here. And our annual meeting is now moving to, or proposed to be moved to, March 31st of 2026 at 6 p.m. right here. All right. There being no further business, and without objection, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you for your participation.
This is a copyrighted production of the Recreation Centers of Sun City Incorporated and is intended for the sole purpose of informing our Recreation Center members. Any duplication, copying, transmission, broadcast, or use, including electronic and social media, is strictly prohibited without the prior written consent from the Recreation Centers of Sun City Incorporated. Thank you for watching.